Let's play! Whoa!
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. You all may call me Pharaoh, and welcome back to Let's Play Raging Loop. Last time we left off, we had to decide how, as wolves, were going to really go about this loop, and how can we win, per se. So we kind of had to trick Kiyori-san and Haru, like, hey, we're doing this for good, blah, 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 because we just really need to see how we can solve this whole mystery, right? And then Chimi just went and killed herself, but, like, all crazy-like. So, what the hell? And now, freaking Kanzo's acting all odd and somewhat compassionate? So, I guess we're going to talk about Haru's love life to see what the hell's going to happen here. Oh, Haru-chan. The moment I said that, he stopped walking. It made me put more weight over my left leg, making me groan in pain. What about her? His grip seemed to become unnaturally stronger. Well, she was really afraid of the mist yesterday, and now she's not. It doesn't seem like her. Nonsense. So, it is like her? It was for men and children women throw away their hang-ups. You know, for a moment that sounded like sexism, but then I realized it could be interpreted as criticism of men, who often clung to their biases no matter what. That aside, analyzing his words made it clear that Haru-chan's change was because of a man. Oh, Yasumizu-kun. Does she like him? Everyone's saying that. Everyone, huh? That was the countryside for you. Love stories had nowhere to hide. Poor Haru-chan. But Yasunaga-kun was very shocked that Chimi-chan died. Youngin hates and loves are a bunch of trouble. That never changes. He resumed walking. Basically, he was wary of any suspicions directed to his granddaughter because of some worthless, childish soap opera stuff. I could totally understand. The truth was that she was actually a wolf, and she was acting like that because she was overdoing the plan I'd set up, so the suspicions were completely right. In other words, those suspicions could fade even quicker if someone presented an even simpler story as an alternative. I actually was kind of falling for Chimi-chan, too. Before the mists came, I asked her if she was seeing someone, and, she said that she was. I then asked if he was in some other town, but her answer wasn't clear. But, she also said that he was cheating on her, so she was thinking of breaking up with him. What a sudden change. That true? He gripped my arm really hard, and I, grimacing at the pain in my leg, looked straight into his wrinkly face. Hey. It's true that she told me that, but I don't know if she was telling the truth. Also, I don't know who the boyfriend is. It could be someone else. After looking at nothing in particular, he turned away from me. I do think Yasunaga-kun is a good kid. He didn't give any sort of response. Alright. I just sown the seeds of malice. It's slick, but terrible at the same time. But hey, you know, any way we can win is the wolves, right? Once I returned to the dining hall, Tae-san took a look at my injury. We told you not to go outside, foolish child. I'm sorry. It really is dangerous. I'll just stay put now. As you should. Tae-san brought a hand towel from the counter and skillfully bandaged my leg. She even put some weird leaves on my skin. Apparently, they help with sprains like this. She then took a wet towel in a plastic bag and applied it to the wound. It was a substitute for ice, and it worked better than you'd think. Despite this being a medical matter, Kinosuke refused to get involved. Orthopedics weren't his specialty, apparently. The empty pride he displayed when saying that actually calmed me down a little bit. It was very like him.
It pains me to see you injured like this, but I am glad that it does not seem so bad.
Sorry for worrying you.
Did you break your leg?
So you know what broken bones are, huh? Anyway, no. I just sprained it.
Sprained?
Sprained.
Strained?
Was I that bad at talking?
Does it hurt?
Yeah, a lot.
It's a punishment.
Shut up, Miko. Punishment? Did I hear that right?
It's a punishment. You did something very bad.
No, I didn't. What's gotten into you today?
I am sorry. I do not know why, but she's been like this all day long.
She really did seem like she was in a bad mood. Has she seen something? I was worried for a moment, but Miko didn't say anything more. She just continued being sulky. What was her deal? I don't know, but let's just add it onto the mystery pile. Eventually, everyone returned, and this ended up being nothing major. My injury was actually the biggest event. Some were worried, some picked on me, some scolded me for not being careful. The reactions were varied, but it didn't look like anyone suspected me because of it. Yasunaga-kun was in a better mood today. When Haruchan and Mochi brought some forged goods, he thanked them with a smile. There was a debate about whether we'd actually eat the stuff. Tae-san said something about the corrupt mist. Kinosuke considered the possibility of there being poisoned plants, etc. We chopped it all up, put some sauce on it, and the volunteers, the children, Hashimoto-san, and the industrious food critic, Mamiya-san, ate up. Nothing happened, of course. Because of my injury, no one wanted to go outside anymore. An hour after lunch, Kanzo said it was time, and we began to feast. It is a little weird seeing Chiemi not there, but alright. Drink more. Will hurt less. Half grinning a response, I drank more of the divine sake than usual. As far as I knew, though, alcohol wasn't good for you when you were injured. Thus, the feast started. Well, first of all, let's talk about Chiemi. What happened to her? You got anything, Yasunaga? Takumi-san started out giving the lead to Yasunaga-kun, who readily accepted it. They'd probably decided on this during their secret talk. He gave several ideas. Chiemi could have accidentally wandered outside on some errand. She also could have not returned home for some reason. And lastly, she could have been killed by the wolves who wanted to make it look like the corruption did it. That was when Takumi-san mentioned that you couldn't stay awake even if you wanted to, and Yoshisuke-kun vouched for that. With that, everyone agreed that it was unlikely that she'd accidentally gone outside. Their talk was similar to the one we'd had when talking about Mamiya-san's death last time. However, unlike this time, it had been a given that Mamiya-san had returned to her room once, so we'd reached the conclusion that she, a person who didn't end up sleeping, was a wolf. The idea that Chiemi didn't return back home to begin with had me forming a certain theory. According to Chiemi from the first loop, you could be outside until 8 in the evening. Yesterday, I'd woken up at about 10 p.m., meaning that anyone in their rooms between 8 and 10 would go to sleep. Or rather, be forced to sleep. That was when the wolves would be woken up, get in the wolf outfit they were given during the night, and do their deeds. From what I could tell, the humans would stay asleep. That was why they were always killed without putting up a fight. After that, the wolves would return to their homes and be forced to sleep again. Then, the wolf outfit would be picked up, and they would wake up the following morning. The Feast of the Yomi Purge wouldn't work without the sleep function. However, I knew for a fact that people could die just by being outside of their rooms. The first time, it happened to be Mamiya-san and Hashimoto-san, who wanted to spend the night in their van, while Yoshisuke-kun was torn apart because of his own recklessness. Last time, if you excluded Mamiya-san, a wolf, Yoshisuke-kun suggested going outside right after everyone went to bed. The first time, he'd probably gone outside long before everyone was forced to sleep. Basically, if you were in a room at a certain time, you would be forced to go to sleep. That was probably the true meaning behind the shelter taboo. It was just a prerequisite for the main factor of controlling the feast. Dreaming, in other words, sleeping. That was why those who didn't shelter would be eliminated by the bringers of corruption. Looking at it that way, I felt like I could see the cunning, logical truth behind Great Lord Shinai. Anyway, the main matter right now was Chiyomi. I had no idea how she could survive outside until she committed suicide, but I would just assume that she did. I also didn't know if she was waiting for the wolves or just happened to encounter us when we went to the dorm. However, it was clear that she'd been outside the whole time. Yasunaga-kun also believed that and said so to everyone. His own idea was that it was actually a murder made to look like a rule violation was dismissed because Chiyomi's futon wasn't even spread out in her room. That meant that she hadn't even intended to dream last night. You know, and they bring up a good point. It's like, this whole idea of like, they're forced to go to sleep. Well, I guess only if they're in their room. So I guess if you're just out there, you're just kind of, I guess you're... What's in those rooms that make you go to sleep, you know? But either way, I guess it's just how the rules work. But, yeah, Chiyomi has been an extremely erratic character, and I'm happy to see that, you know? But I want to find out more of these mysteries.
So you're saying that you don't know why, but Chini's death was like an accident? And that the wolves still haven't killed anyone, right?
Yes. After Yasunaga-kun explained his position, Mochi interjected. He was a passive participant, but really good at it. Most of his few words were on the mark. He was also the monkey, so no one had to worry about him trying to mislead people. So, you're saying that the wolves themselves hesitated to kill?
That's what I think.
That misinterpretation was actually good for us. Though we didn't plan for it, we got rid of a human, and there wouldn't be a hanging today as retaliation. At least, a part of me hopes so. I don't think so. Kanzo-san argued against it. Of course.
Why?
It's too good for the wolves. Sharp.
I see where you're coming from, but we must know what really happened to Chiyomi before we can say that.
It's the other way around. Say it, Yasu.
Huh?
Someone died at night. Normally, it's the wolves doing. Just say it.
But Teiba and the old wolf man said it was the corruption. That's what I thought. But it's difficult. The wolf is coming.
That ain't good enough for me.
Then how do you explain why Chiyomi's futon wasn't spread out?
It don't matter much.
Yes, it does.
Yasu, shut up.
Ooh.
Oh, this is gonna be good for me, isn't it? Kanzo-san's words were full of irritation, if not anger. It brought a change to everyone's expressions. I was the only one who could see this rationally. After all, I was the one who caused this. I presented him with an unproven personal matter between me and a deceased girl, maliciously giving him several ways to view it. One of them led to the conclusion that Yasunaga-kun was a dirty cheater who played both Chiyomi and Haru-chan. I'd led Kanzo-san to that convenient idea without putting myself at any risk. I wasn't expecting us to avoid today's lynching to begin with. Thus, I would instead gain their trust by just leading them to the truth. There's another possibility. Chiyomi-chan could have committed suicide. The idea shocked everyone, but it was actually easy to explain. It was true, after all. Someone who commits suicide wouldn't prepare their futon, and since the suicide was enough bloodshed for the night, the wolves didn't kill anyone else. It was an answer that let people combine the idea that the wolves didn't kill, but plan to.
Then why was her body in that state? What kind of suicide leads to that?
Well, the wolf saw her body after she committed suicide and just left it there, letting the local beasts have it. Doesn't that make sense? Well, we got beasts that could do that? In this area? Old man? He wanted to prove that wolves were out for blood, but his knowledge as a hunter denied the possibility of there being such beasts here. So, I helped him out. This isn't something I wanted to consider, but it might have been a monster. Or maybe a god. Think about it. There's definitely something that brings a corruption. There were lots of dead dogs on the first day, right? If there was a being that could do that around the area, it could easily find Chimi's body and do the same. It could be Yomibito, Badger, or a real wolf.
Well, it is true that there might be something spreading the corruption. Oh, how terrifying! Fusashi-san, please don't needlessly frighten people! That's not my intention. I actually do think there's an unidentified menace around these parts, and we should be wary of it. It could have been the reason why the corpse was destroyed. Shouldn't we keep that in mind? Well, you're not wrong.
Wait, even if that was a suicide, there's no proof that the wolves wanted to kill, right? Also, I don't think that Chimi is the type to commit suicide.
Yeah, there's no way she could kill herself.
Please calm down, everyone.
So he joined in. How would he handle this?
Can I give my opinion?
Go ahead.
Of course. I might not look it, but I used to be a cameraman in a war zone, so I've seen many gruesome things.
Oh, excuse me. Seriously?
Yes, and I'm not an expert, so I can't be sure. But it looked to me like her head was scattered in a strange way. Some pieces even reached high up the wall. I even took a photo. It looks like a gun wound to me. A large gun, at that, and from point-blank range, even.
Sharp. A few people looked at Kanzo-san. It was a fitting reaction, considering he had a gun, and he grunted in response.
Oh, I don't believe it has anything to do with Makishima-san. What are you getting at? Well, the only real situation when blood and other things can fly up high is when someone puts their gun in their mouth and shoots it. It'd be pretty hard to do with a large gun. A murder would more likely be at an even or downward angle. That makes me think that Fusashi-kun is right, and it was a suicide. Did she have a gun?
No.
Not that I know of. Never heard if she did. But she says she got a hunting license. Huh? Seriously? Oh, then she could have had a shotgun. She had guts. If she was gonna have someone go hunting, it would have been her.
Or if he was gonna go hunting, he would have had her. Kanzo-san's tone grew lower as he displayed an unexpectedly high opinion of her. The story that she was being cheated on must have hit even harder than I thought. Chimi really did have a place here. She must have gotten a license because she thought so herself. That could only mean that the gloomy talk from last time was just nonsense from a wolf. Definitely.
Wait, but that doesn't make any sense. Why didn't she have a gun then? We didn't find anything in her room either. Not even bullets.
I was curious about why there was no gun as well. But there were no bullets either? Or shells? They were with the rest of her stuff last time. Did they mess up while searching or something?
Well, the room was unlocked, so anyone could go in, right? Right.
I believe she could fear the worst, that the wolves took both the gun and the bullets. That was when Mamiya-san took over. I do understand that it doesn't make complete sense to fear a gun that, for all we all know, might not even exist. But I believe we should check everyone's rooms.
I'm not sure if they would hide it somewhere so obvious. What do you think?
I think it's important to show that we're willing to search.
Let's do it. Fine by me. Wait, I don't think you should look around my house for such a reason. There might be old hunting rifles that had nothing to do with this.
Do you have something to hide? Honestly, I don't think he'd take a gun with him. He probably already has one or two, and he's got no spine.
Chikamochi, you... But he's not wrong. In fact, the very idea of taking something like that from a corpse is making me nauseous.
Chicken? Afraid of corpses, huh? I heard that's why you can't make it as a doctor.
No,
Stop it, Yoshisugu. Sato-san, please forgive him.
So he really was afraid of corpses. Man, the guy was hard to make use of. Still, there was no reason for us to be afraid here. After all, we weren't the ones who took the gun. I can only assume it was Grey Lord Shinai again. Thanks to Hashimoto-san, just about everyone now agreed that Chimi had killed herself with a gun. Proof was a very important thing. The people of Yasumizu really had to realize that by cleaning up the corpses right away, they made it harder to find out the truth. Even Yoshinaga-kun accepted that Chimi had committed suicide. He was now muttering something like, "Chini, why?" Kanzo-san looked at him with extremely intense eyes. If you connected the story from before of the suicide, you could assume that it was a result of the love triangle drama. After all, she committed suicide in front of Yoshinaga-kun's room. With that settled, Takumi-san spoke up again. So, what do we do today? We hang it or not? After a moment of silence.
She wasn't killed by the wolves. That's why we shouldn't lynch anyone.
We said we'd hang if someone died.
It wasn't the wolves! May I say something?
What is it?
I believe that Serizawa-sama was acting on a spider's mentality.
Huh? What do you mean?
She took the corruption in herself. She protected us by acting like the spider. Wise and brave as she is, Serizawa-sama could easily do something like that. Tell us more. Last night, she might have drawn her own blood to protect those of Guardians among us. She might have committed suicide after witnessing the arrival of the wolves. Chi-chan, she might have been violent, but she was honest and gentle too.
It ain't that. Chini just had guts.
Then, were the wolves really planning to kill her? Sure you're not overthinking it? But honestly, I can't think of any other case in which Chini would commit suicide. Haruni, if Chini didn't know what to do, she saw someone else before her. She knew exactly what she was doing here. She always stood up to protect us in school, didn't she? Chini. What do we do? It's looking like they wanted to hang someone today.
I would want to vote on it at least.
Hashimoto-san!
We must survive. This might be necessary to accomplish that.
But...
If that was really her reason, then Serizawa-sama didn't have a guardian. The snake must still be alive, and he or she has information for us. And if everyone here can band together against the wolves, then the situation is very different from how it was yesterday. I'll still listen to my conscience and vote against killing, but I'll accept the results. Alright, we'll raise hands for it. Anyone who's voting on who to hang, raise your hands. The old wolf guy, Yamawaki-san, Kanzo-san, Kiyonosuke-shi, Takumi-san, Reikaku-san, Mochi, Yoshisugu-kun, and I raised our hands. The only ones who didn't were Kiyori-san, Yoshinaga-kun, Haru-chan, Miko, and the Journos.
Mochi! Sorry, Yasu, but I feel like I gotta avenge Chini. Oh, really? If she really wants that, she could have showed up in our dreams or something. Yeah.
9 against 6. Choose who to hang. Oh, guess we have no choice. Oh, if we pick and lynch someone, do we just go on our own ways then? How is it, old man? The feast ends and someone's hanged. Then, before that, I would like to say something about the snake. If they found a wolf today, they should come out with it.
That's a good idea. It would make it easier to choose who to hang, and the spider could protect them. I hope we don't get multiple.
Well, just like Yasumizu-kun pointed out yesterday, we're bound to have more than one, right after the first comes.
Yeah, if the real one came out now, I would have to play the fake. But the real one wouldn't come out just yet.
Hey, Snake, you found a wolf? Doesn't look like it.
That means the person they found yesterday was a human.
I see. Now, does anyone here want to be investigated before anyone... Does anyone here want to be investigated here before anyone else?
You know, for a moment, I almost ignored that nonchalant question. But a second later, I almost stopped breathing. This was an attack. I had no idea why I thought that. But this was a deadly attack. What was I supposed to do about it? What was the right choice? So wait a minute, if I understood that correctly, he straight up said who wants to be investigated by the snake, right? Does anyone here want to be investigated before anyone else? What a weird ass question, but man, Hashimoto really is dangerous. Like, straight up. The thing is, why... I can really see this go both ways. The logical part of me is, don't raise my hand because I don't want to draw suspicion to myself, and if they do take my word for it, and like I say, yeah, investigate me, they're going to see I'm a wolf, and then boom, I'm dead, you know? Although, I guess it's not guaranteed. You still have to get everybody to vote for you. You know, screw it. I'm just going to say don't raise my hand. I don't want to put myself in the limelight. I couldn't let myself be investigated before anyone else. Not when I was a wolf. It'd be bad if the snake discovered my identity, and having me become a topic of debate would be even worse. It was possible that they wouldn't speak up about finding a wolf, but it didn't seem like silence was an option, given the situation. Not to sound cocky or anything, but if I were taken down, the rest of the wolves would instantly fall apart. I wasn't supposed to raise my hand, right? After much hesitation, I didn't. On the other hand, 5 others raised their hands. Kanzo-san, Kinosuke, Yasunaga-kun, Mamiya-san, Yoshisugu-kun. Shit. When I saw who stepped forward, I understood the nature of the trap. I unconsciously glanced at one who'd set this up and found him looking right at me with a smile. Yet another damn blunder on my part. It'd be late, but maybe if I raised my hand now... Well, that's enough. Hashimoto-san had me totally beat. That said, I wasn't sure if everyone would understand the point he was trying to make. But when I considered my current position... So, that's how it is it? How troubling. Despite his words, Hashimoto-san didn't sound the least bit troubled. Wait, what's troubling? Well, first things first, all of you should want to be investigated. After all, if we're all investigated, you can gain proof you're not a wolf. Anything you say here can be interpreted as a slip of the tongue and lead to doubt. So all you should want to prove your innocence. All of you should want to prove your innocence. Then investigate me too. I want to be investigated too. Please investigate me. Me too, then. Me too. Me too. I don't get what's going on, but whatever, I'm in. Yes, this is the way it should be. Everyone who understood the explanation should have their hands raised now. Bah? Only the ones who didn't understand kept their hands down. You can put your hands down again. Everyone did as he said. It was unsettling. Like Hashimoto-san possessed some technique that controlled everyone. However, there was one thing that didn't go as expected. Those participants who planned to be passive aside
Those of you who want a voice in a feast should want to have their innocence proven more than anyone else. Indeed, Masato-san and Aribi-san's sons were quick to respond. Well, I could hardly do anything if I doubted whenever I speak.
'Cause guys like me look fishy simply for doubting the old hag.
Yes, that's correct. Incidentally, those two were designated because they were the secondary wave of those who want a voice in the feast. But have they realized that? Naturally, Yasunaka-kun and Kanzo-san were a primary wave, and Mamiya-san could be right up there with them this time. However, it is quite curious about how those who should have have a lot to say didn't raise their hands after... That's terrible. We're screwed. Both Takumi and ourselves said I'm the snake.
Shit! What horrible timing. I've been forced to out myself as a snake, and with Takumi-san at that. I just barely managed to avoid falling behind his declaration, but that could hardly be called a silver lining right now.
Oh, Fusashi, you bastard!
Huh, so you're a wolf, huh?
No, calm down. Oh boy, the snake's already come out.
Please wait, what's going on right now?
I didn't raise my hand because I never considered investigating myself.
I'm the snake, so I was worried that announcing I wanted to be investigated by the snake would seem like a lie. I was simply worried how to act in a place when even the smallest lie is forbidden.
You son of a bitch! You want me to slug you right here and now? Calm down. Hashimoto-san rose partially to his feet, exuding a pressure that intimidated even a man as sturdily built as Takumi. I see. So you didn't raise your hands for those reasons, not because you're wolves and didn't want to be investigated.
Of course.
Damn right!
Who did the two of you investigate then?
You, Yasu.
Huh? I mean, I'm grateful for that, but I'm a human, right?
Yeah.
I see. So that was why he acted that way this morning, and why he didn't out himself as a snake yesterday. What about you, Fusashi-san? I investigated Kanzo-san. He's human. It may have sounded a bit too good to be true, but he was the only one I could see possibly backing me up. There was also seeds of malice I planted in him earlier.
Now then, what are we to do?
I was the one who wanted to complain. The snake had revealed themselves early, but this was a totally different situation from that previous sloop where Takumi-san had done so on the first day. It was the second day, so not only had the power been successfully used once, but now a liar had been successfully lured out. The longer the snake survived, the better, but as a participant, they'd already drawn out more than enough information. So long as he was acknowledged as the real deal, that was.
I'm the real snake!
I am the real snake! So you both are under the same conditions.
Like hell! The damn bastard's lying!
You're the liar here!
Indeed, without any contradictions between us, neither of us could be selected.
Why don't we let them be and observe how they act?
Yasunaka-kun reached that conclusion, but... No, let's hang them both.
Yeah, of course this guy would say that. Guess trying to get him on my side was a bust.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Wait, what?
I know that Yasu's a human, and I'm sure the old man's a human too. I don't think this lying bastard would be brazen enough to claim one of his fellow wolves was a human at this point. And the old man Kanzo I know would have killed himself the moment he learned he was a wolf.
I kept waiting to say that wasn't true, but unfortunately, I knew nothing I said could convince them.
You and Yasu are safe. And besides, Chimi's already gone. If me and the sly bastard are gone, then I don't think there'll be anyone this dangerous left to take charge of the wolves.
The madness of the people of Yasumizu.
No one here is crafty enough to be suited as the leader of the wolves. I know that better than anyone. I don't know about Mamiya-san, but I don't think she has what it takes to direct the rest of us well.
Are you saying I'm not clever enough? Maybe being seen that way is a good thing in the situation, but it ticks me off.
No, I meant that you're just acting as an outsider. As long as that's true, you couldn't lead the rest of Yasumizu.
I see. Then I agree.
And there you have it. Go ahead and hang me if you want. But get rid of Fusashi first.
Like hell they'd fall for that bull. The real snake would survive while the fake one dies.
Anyone who don't have the guts to die for the humans is a wolf.
That makes absolutely no sense. Any further bickering's pointless. Can we start the vote now?
Go ahead.
Damn it.
It wasn't even a contest. The vote was 13-2 in favor of lynching me. A crushing defeat. Please don't tell me the two people who didn't vote for me were, Kiyori-san and Haru, because that would just make them look suspicious. Either way, it doesn't matter, because we're dead.
I am sorry, Haruwaki-sama.
Rikaku-san, the only one who voted in my favor on the grounds. Oh! Well, I guess I voted as well, so, okay. Damn. So only she subbed for me. Alright then. So the only one who voted in my favor on the grounds that those who claim to have guardians shouldn't be taken lightly was the one pushing me. Please don't worry about it. In fact, you shouldn't be nice to me at all. People might think you're an ally too. And what do you mean by two, Fusashi-kun? Remember this, Hashimoto-san. Your stupid trap that relied on pouncing what people said will have cost the humans a real snake. Yes, that may indeed be possible.
This man was insane too. His words lacked substance. Perhaps he'd gotten too used to insane situations and taken up a relaxed attitude to handle any gruesome circumstances. It made sense. I'd been a sore loser and slipped up this time. He'd won. Rise not.
So I just say rise not? I would return. I was hanged and died. I swore I'd return. And when I did, I wouldn't let those people kill me. That thought repeated in mind until my consciousness swiftly faded into the mist. And I died. But that's okay. Oh, man. Yeah, Hashimoto is stupidly dangerous. Typical werewolf mistake. Okay, I get it. Oh, lowered hand lynching. Well, as you may have guessed from the title, all you have to do is raise your hand. Go back to that and... okay. That was a very easy Hank corner that time around. Excuse me. Okay then. Let's go back to the feast. And I guess we'll raise our hand. That means man. So how's that gonna work now with Takumi? Because now we know he's a snake. So that's good information because that means that he might be he might be a good target to take care of, and then we can reveal ourselves as a snake to kind of secure our position, right? So I'd like to think we'll be okay. We'll see here. As a wolf, I didn't want to be investigated before anyone else. Even so, I raised my hand. Not raising it might be seen as asking that I not be investigated. A total of 6 people raised their hands. Kanzo-san, Kyunosuke-shi, Yoshinaga-kun, Mamiya-san, Yoshisugu-kun, and me. Upon seeing who raised their hands, I instantly understood the nature of the trap. Those who wanted to have a voice in the feast simply had to raise their hands here. Being a proven human was necessary if you wanted to have influence and a voice here. The feast was a game of politics disguised as a game of logic. Since the murders couldn't be scientifically investigated, you had to present possible suspects purely on circumstantial evidence. However, whether the others believed that or not was up to them to decide. And since circumstantial evidence, no matter how much of it, remained circumstantial, it was entirely possible to make a fool of yourself by treating it like direct proof. There was also the fear of death, as well as religious faith. Not many people were capable of deciding everything for themselves in a situation. Those who didn't have confidence in their own decisions left the choice to others, specifically to popular, capable leaders. They were the ones who didn't raise their hands. They were too slow to realize how to react to this because they needed explanations and guidance from their leaders. Those who wanted to be leaders, on the other hand, were constantly waiting for opportunities to consolidate power by proving themselves right.
Wait, what are you getting at? Imagine that we all agree that the snake would investigate you today, and tomorrow we would ask them to reveal themselves if they found a wolf. If they don't reveal themselves, it would mean you are safe. You wouldn't be needlessly suspected. Oh, I get it.
The snake found a human today, but not until they reveal themselves. That they won't be of any use to us. I approve of this as well. Then, please investigate me as well. Can you investigate me too? I would like that too. Me too.
Everyone now raised their hands like the followers they were.
Huh?
Besides the monkeys, the ones who weren't raising their hands either didn't understand the situation at all, or missed the right time to hide their hope that they wouldn't be investigated. But we didn't have any of those. Both Haruchado and Kiyori-san knew what they had to do. However, my only option in this situation was to raise my hand at the first opportunity. I had already done something to assert my wish to take a political lead. Besides that, I was a newbie who no one trusted, so I was a likely lynch target. Everyone probably assumed that I knew my situation. That was why I had to put myself ahead before anyone else. Otherwise, it would have seemed extremely likely that I was a wolf. Hashimoto-san slowly looked at everyone. I swear, now that I look at this image of Hashimoto, I don't know why the hell he looks somewhat familiar, like an actual human being. I don't know why I want to say that, like a celebrity, but I don't know where. It's gonna bother me anyway. He stopped the moment his gaze was directed at me. It wasn't stern or cold. It was as calm and gentle as always. But I couldn't help sensing a powerful will behind it. The will of a cameraman, an observer, who wanted to know the true nature of his subject. This wasn't a battlefield, the wilderness, or some restaurant selling unusual cuisine. But he was, as always, remaining an observer. He stayed at an appropriate distance, blended in with the environment, and focused solely on observation. And if he noticed something crucial, he would simply call it out. It wouldn't be that his words would prompt some other event. His attack would be over the moment he spoke. That was just how precise his observations were. Was I being paranoid? No. He was the real deal. A true threat to me. He tested us just now. He tested me just now. Suspected me. In that case, what came next would be...
Oh, well, sorry about that. Please put your hands down. Of course you would raise your hands. If you have nothing to hide, you would obviously want to be investigated and prove your innocence.
So, who do we investigate?
Personally, I would be more at ease if they were first. If you were first. We outsiders are easy to suspect after all. But that's just what I want. Otherwise, what about Fusashi-kun? He seems pretty smart, so it would be good to know if he's human, right?
I actually had to avoid being investigated by the snake. I see. Would that mean that he wouldn't be an option in today's lynching?
Yes.
If I wasn't a wolf, this would be nothing but a kindness from a fellow outsider. I wasn't certain if he was doing this on purpose. However, I was certain of one thing. Yudai Hashimoto was my enemy. The most formidable among everyone here, in fact. All that hard work to save him, and now I had to kill him. But I had to do it to survive. I mean, I wish I could say that's a good idea, but there's someone who should be investigated before me.
Oh? And who would that be?
Takumi-san. This was how I'd handle it. It was a setup for a future attack. Takumi-san will continue to be an important figure for the entire feast. It'll be harder for everyone to decide on what to do if we don't know whether he's human or wolf.
That's...
Well, he's not wrong. The outspoken ones are often stand out, which draws suspicion.
In terms of importance, Takumi-san is roughly on the same level as Kanzo Makishima-san. I do want to feel secure, but I don't want to be criticized for prioritizing myself over the group as a whole. I don't mind if you're going to investigate me regardless. Do what I say. Or if I seem suspicious to you right now, you can even vote for me. I don't mind getting hanged for the sake of your victory. I prepared for that possibility last night. Chimi-chan displayed impressive courage in what she did, and I would like to follow her example, even if I wouldn't be as nearly as cool.
Haruwaki-sama.
What do you think, Mochi?
Takumi-ni, huh? Well, he's not wrong. Hey, can we just not hang him? I also don't think he's a wolf.
That went... well? Haru-chan was kind of overdoing it, but as long as she didn't take it any further, it'd be consistent with her act so far.
I see. Then, let's have the snake investigate Takumi Muro-san. Any objections?
Silence.
Are you okay with it yourself? Yeah, I don't mind. Then it's decided.
Well, obviously it's going to be easy for him, but still, he couldn't push any further. Now, it was time to vote.
What a waste of time. Uematsu, we're voting.
Yes, I shall write them down.
We continued talking for a short while after that, but it was mostly pointless chatter about what we should do and if anyone else had any ideas.
Hey, can't we find out who the wolves are by setting up some cameras?
If you say that here, the wolves will hear too. It'd be pointless.
Oh, right.
Haru-chan did as I told her, displaying dedication toward contributing to the feast. A decent amount of time had passed since we started the feast, and it'd probably end right before the evening. Takumi-san was silent. He seemed against hanging people on a whim at first, but something had changed him somehow. Chimi was like a fellow pillar of the community, so it must have hit him pretty hard. At this point, the only one clearly opposed to the vote was Mamiya-san, but even then, she only had a hand on her forehead. And so, the vote began.
You first, old guy. You listening?
You.
Huh? Me?
Like a demon. Scary, scary.
Ugh, whatever. Old man Kanzo? One for Yasu.
Ooh, did I push things too far? Is it weird to be opposed to the lynching?
You got a good head. Could be just an act. Yasu ain't your enemy, old man. Can't trust that without reason.
Takumi-ni, it's fine. Move on.
Then, Bachan, your turn.
What a burden. One for the journalist. Wait, have I done anything suspicious? Hashimoto-san is a monkey. But I don't know about you.
Calm down, Q-chan.
I'm fine. I should have seen this coming. I was just surprised.
My turn. One for the old wolf guy. I don't want to say this, but if you're really just gonna say random stuff even in this situation, you're a nuisance to all of us.
Oh, hey, you suspect of someone else, right? You sure? Huh?
I don't know what you're talking about. Kiyori-san, you're next.
Yasunaga, what do you think?
Can I say who I'll vote for before it's my turn?
It ain't a problem.
I can't vote with certainty at this point. With that in mind, I can only pick someone who doesn't contribute to the feast, so don't just follow me without thinking. Just say it! I'm voting for the old wolf man. But Mom, I want you to decide for yourself how to vote. Okay, so I will. 1 for Rikaku Uematsu. I do not mind, but may I have a reason? I have a problem with how you presented Chimi-chan's death. After all, it's possible that she was a wolf, right? Of all people, she was the one to say that? Then again, I was actually planning to mention it too. That was a smart move. What do you mean? I'm saying that it could have been a fight between wolves. Maybe they argued about whether they'd actually kill or not.
Wow. It was almost as if she was there herself.
Kanzoshi was nodding. After all, in the feast, it was common sense that humans weren't the only ones who could die at night. By creating the possibility that Chimi was a wolf, we will mess up their assumptions about how many wolves there were left. Maybe Chimi-chan killed herself because she didn't want to kill.
No, wait, would that really count as a murder for the night?
Well, we actually can't be sure, but it's entirely possible that death due to discord between wolves counts. Then they left the corpse there, and then the beasts or something else came and made a mess of it, just like Fusashi-san suggested. In that situation, any capable wolf would want to insist that Chime-chan was human, right? She said that while looking at Rikaku-san, who praised Chimi's actions on the basis that she was human. But... No! I simply wanted to... beautify Chimi-chan's actions. Fully aware that my comment was unnecessary, I took the stage. Suicide is sad. No matter what. It's hard for everyone left behind. But if you look at it in a positive way, we can stay positive as well. I imagine that Rikaku-san was just showing consideration for us all. I took her side this time. She was an important person with special powers. It was better for her to die later. I couldn't deny that part of me didn't want to kill her, but I ignored it. After all, following the betrayal, the only one suffering would be me. Right now, the important thing was to pretend to be human, fighting the good fight against the wolves. Kiyori-san was a wolf, and would probably be outed eventually. I had to make sure I wouldn't be suspected being based on acting in support of her beforehand. I did think that, but most of all, I simply thought that Sarazawa-sama displayed amazing bravery by trying to protect us.
I didn't doubt that. Rikaku-san might have been more traditional than anyone else in Fujiyoshi, but her heart remained good-natured. Alright, I'll let the rest decide for themselves. You're next, Kyo. 1 for Haruwaki Fusashi-kun. Just like last time, he voted for me on the first day. Can I have a reason? Didn't you say it yourself? I knew I'd vote for you the moment you took the initiative, but refused to be investigated by the snake. I understand. Though, I don't think I should have been more selfish there.
Next? Like I said, I'm voting for the old wolf guy.
He was the first one to get 2 votes. Chikamochi, you're next.
Hassan, I guess? Why? He's acting too serious. What do you mean? Nothing really. Hassan's usually more relaxed, that's it.
The scary thing was that such random thoughts of his often hit the mark. Yoshi, who you voting for?
Uematsu. My reason is that I think the hag's got a point. You should think for yourself too. I did, I'm saying what I said. Also, I don't like how a village heads will use one of our deaths to our advantage.
Haru, you're next.
I'll vote for Uematsu-san too.
Why must a woman who grieved for your loss be suspected so much? Is this how you repay her?
Shut up. Let's just get this over with. Takumi-ni.
1 for Rikaku Uematsu.
One for Kyoto Oribe-sama. Retaliation, I suppose? Yes. I know I am human, and I find your reasoning unjust.
You done? You're next, Miku.
Fusayuki-san!
What?
You mean Fusashi? Why him?
Everyone's bad, but there's an order.
Huh? What's she saying?
I do not know either.
Wait. Could it be that she was...
Everyone needs to, something. It's, hang.
Miko was the badger! Crap! I couldn't use her no matter how hard I thought about it. Hell, she could totally give it away and ruin us.
Oh well. Next.
Well, I guess they're just gonna say whatever. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, Miko was acting really weird. But then again, I feel like, is there something else that she knows? But no, she said everyone has to hang, so yeah, she knows the true story. Holy crap, never mind.
Fusashi.
Alright. Right now, I have 3 votes. As of Kaku-san, the old wolf guy had 2. While Takumi-san, Kyoto-san, Yasunaga-kun, and Mamiya-san had 1 each. To survive, I had to vote for Kaku-san or the old wolf guy, and my vote would affect those of the remaining 2, the journos. If they both voted for me, it'd be game over. But if I was right about the nature of Hashimoto-san's actions, he was trying to decide whether I was clean or not. And if he decided that I wasn't, he would have surely mentioned it before the vote began. It was possible that he would vote for someone else. I had no idea if Mamiya-san would follow his vote, but even if she didn't, it wasn't likely that she would vote for me. Basically, if I vote for Kaku-san, she would give 4 votes and most likely be lynched. And if I vote for the old wolf guy, he would have 3 votes, and depending on who the journals voted for, I could end up in the final vote. None of those was just 1 vote who are particularly suspicious, so it was best to just disregard them altogether. I had to vote between Kaku-san and the old wolf guy. But honestly, it wasn't much of a choice. Kyoto-san's words about Kaku-san relied a decent amount on the assumption that the village heads were anti-Yasumizu, but that wasn't very credible. It would be strange for me to base my decision on that. We already had Haru-chan agree with Kyoto-san's words. She didn't even give her own reason. I didn't want to be considered an ally of those who'd given up on thinking for themselves. No. All that mattered was who the remaining 2 would vote for. This could lead to another final vote, but I'd think about that then. I'm voting for the old wolf guy. Why? I had to say something justified and useful for the humans. You're all well aware of how he behaves, but I think it's all an act. My worst surprise, everyone.
Why would you believe that?
Naturally, I couldn't say that I'd seen him make a decent play where he was a badger. I don't believe that a senile man could survive multiple feats like this one. He's sometimes unresponsive, doesn't say a word to the very end, but when asked directly, he tends to answer immediately. When you look at it like that, he might just be ignoring or dancing around questions that are bad for him. It's a clever strategy.
Wait a second. I vote for him myself, but don't you think you're overthinking it? Also, if that were true, don't you think he would have avoided being in this dangerous situation?
I think he might know a loophole.
A loophole that doesn't kill you?
I can't say for certain, but from what little I've seen, the place he sleeps at is basically a dilapidated wreck. I hadn't seen him this time around, actually, but no one would find my claim fishy. It didn't even look like it was qualified as shelter. And yet he's alive.
Now that you mention it.
Kanzo Makishima-san, has he ever survived things he didn't seem capable of surviving?
Can't say if he did or didn't. But I don't trust him. Guy's been a freak for as long as I've known him.
He decided to ignore it all, apparently. If you know how to avoid the feast, please do tell us. If you do, I'll retract my vote.
No one escapes the mountain.
He's basically saying he won't cooperate with us no matter what. That's the basis for my vote.
Alright, you're next, Mamiya-san.
Can I just not vote? I don't want to be complicit in murder.
We can't have that. We need to know who you doubt and who you support.
Right then. You, Haru Makishima-san.
Huh?
Haru? Your reason?
It's nothing major. I just picked the most suspicious one out of the ones who would definitely not be lynched today. I considered voting for Yamawaki-san at first, but there's no point in such a petty revenge.
You're saying Haru-chan's more suspicious than me?
If I had to choose between you, yes. She didn't say why she suspected Uematsu-san, and her general attitude is strange. There's nothing certain there.
Saw through Haru-chan's act, huh?
I don't have any preferences here, but I don't believe that all the wolves are so cunning, cruel, and gutsy. There could be one who's just cowering in fear of any votes that could come their way. It's a genuine issue to consider, and that's why I'm voting for her.
Seriously? That's it? That's so cruel.
And so's the whole thing you're all doing. Please don't make a big deal out of this.
Alright, you're last, Hashimoto-san. Oh, this is difficult. But even so, I will vote for the old wolf fellow.
It was settled then.
Can you give us a reason? I believe I understand what kind of people you are now. And I believe nominating you at this point in time would be strange. That's it, really. A simple reason. I see. Alright then.
That gives him 4 votes. It is decided.
Bring the rope.
I need time.
Shut it!
Every single time he's been killed, I need time, I need to get my things. I still think something's up with that. I feel like something is in that dilapidated wreck he has as a home that could solve this mystery. Something's up with him.
I've seen this before.
Kanza-san punched the old wolf guy, shocking some people. In the end, upon getting the rope, Kanza-san tied him up with I want to hang him on a pine all by himself.
I'll hang him myself. You go back. Oh man, what's got into you?
The conditions for it were different, but this event unfolded the exact same way as last time. This was just my assumption, but I believe that Kanza-san had some sort of unfinished business with the old wolf guy. Perhaps he too suspected the old man would try something strange here. The first time he said he needed time, everyone accepted it, and soon he and Mochi, who accompanied him, were found dead outside. Was he planning to do something before his execution? That something led to murders and made Kanzo-san forcefully drag him to the tree. It seemed significant to me. Dragging my feet in the line, heading back to the dining hall, I thought about the old wolf guy. Was there some sort of way to make him talk? Maybe I could loop back and... No. He probably wouldn't react to anything I said. For now, I just had to be glad that I'd survived today's feast. I couldn't show it, of course. If there were any holes in anything I'd said today, it could prove trouble further down the line. Even so, I'd cast aside my doubts and taken a step forward. I could win this. I would win this as a wolf. Phew. And I think with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think I may go ahead and just call the video here. It's a little over an hour. We did the whole feast, at least part of the feast today, so I'm happy about that. I would continue going, because I'm sure there's going to be a point where we gotta, like, as the wolf, I assume either we're going to meet up with Kiyori-san and Haru and decide who should we go after, what are we going to do. But you know what, I'll just save all that for next time. Because right now, there's a few things I need to consider. Like, we know for a fact Takumi is a snake. And that's dangerous as all hell. And then, especially how Hashimoto's acting, he's kind of putting us in a bad limelight in a sense, because like, oh, well, you know, maybe we should investigate him. Oh, but Takumi's in it. Oh, let's investigate Takumi. Well, the thing is, Takumi's a snake. He knows that, you know, he's human, obviously. So what's going to stop him from looking into us now? So there's a few dangerous aspects here, but we'll delve later as we keep moving along here. So, as usual, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time for Let's Play The Raging Loop. Love you all so much. Have a great day.